and as well as be able to cognitively connect to what's happening through pen and paper, or through paper and through paper, or finger and tablet, or device. Please make sure that you grab a water or a healthy drink. I'm big on hydration, so you'll see me drinking throughout the class. Want to encourage you to do that. So find a healthy drink or water. And as shared, or what has been asked already, please make sure that your camera is on, and once again that your name is spelled correctly. So please rename your name. As someone named Ved Jen, I'm not quite sure what that is or who that is, but please, and I see you're moving, but when you get settled, please change your name. And then also, if you would be so kind as to add your pronouns, that would be super, super dope. And we could talk about how to do that. There is a feature in Zoom to turn that on, but if you could also rename, or after your last name, add your pronouns, that would be amazing. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So tonight, is going to be a pretty amazing. It's going to be a continuation of what Professor Jay talked about, but also we're going to go a little bit deeper. So I want to applaud some of you who were able to come to the homework hour yesterday. I know that schedules are pretty busy this time of the year, but when you can come to the homework hour or the office hours, as we explained, it's helpful to have that information. In between class, if you need to reach me, I also have an email address that I didn't put on here, but here are all of my handles. If you want to follow me, that's how you can contact me. And I'm going to share a little bit more about who I am in just a second, but I'll keep it brief. Once again, I've already covered this, but one thing that I also want to reinforce is we love guests. We love people to come in and support. Maybe someone sitting next to you, or an auntie or uncle walked in the room, or maybe your neighbor wants to see what the heck are you doing on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. But if the person sitting next to you, or if they're logged in, has not assigned a one-time media waiver, if we haven't identified you, at some point you might be exited from the classroom because we don't know who you are, or if we see you, you might just kind of gently with love call you out. It is for the safety and security of our scholars. We want to make sure that everyone is protected and in a safe environment, so we want to make sure that that's happening. That was also reinforced in the email that went out last night. So that's a little bit about all the housekeeping. Let's jump right into it and talk a little bit about our agenda and our roadmap for tonight. So number one, there was an email that also went out yesterday with respect to everyone having access to your Google Drive, or to the Google Drive, that has all of the PowerPoint. So this PowerPoint will be uploaded there, and all of the resources that you're going to need. An email was sent to your personal email addresses. If you gave a school email address, or a school email address, we weren't unable to send it there. So if you'd be so kind to send that, respond to that email, or if you want to drop it in the chat and then but send it directly to the S.O.A.R administrator, we'll make sure that you get that link, or have the email resent to you. It's important so that you have everything. Tonight, and as we move out of all the housekeeping and all that fun stuff, we're going to do a review of day one. I know it was a couple of days ago, but we are going to do a quick review of day one. We're going to identify some components of the strategic business plan. So we started to talk, or Professor Jay started to talk about that on Tuesday, a little bit about your mission statement, your vision statement. A lot of you have been thinking about that. There were some discussions about that, but we're going to go a little bit deeper. So we'll revisit that. Tonight, we're also going to define what the definition of an entrepreneur is, and get you thinking more about that. Some of you identified the types of businesses that you have or had been thinking about. And I was taking notes. I had visited that class, and so I did take notes of some of you that already have businesses, but then there are some of you that actually don't. So we're going to talk more about that as we move deeper. Jada talked about having a fashion business and prints, and Roberto. So again, they have established businesses, but obviously are here to learn more about businesses and and how to be even more successful with the existing businesses, or to jumpstart them, as we learned a little bit more about their businesses on Tuesday. We're going to think about, so we're going to think about that. We're going to have you go back and look at the draft, or at least have you write a draft of your vision and mission statement. This is going to be key, because if you don't know where you're going and why you're going there, it's going to be really hard to really sustain your interest in building a business when things get tough, when things get rough. If you don't know what you're doing and why you're doing it, the tendency is for people to stop. And that's why you see many businesses or new businesses fail, because they don't have a sustained vision of what to do, why they're doing it. And you're also going to understand how to do it by the time these classes are over. So tonight we're going to focus on the why you're doing it, and really more about the direction. Where do you want to go with this business, right? And then we're going to review, which is really important. And I have some of my esteemed colleagues with me in the chat. So thank you, Professor Rosie, and there might be some others that will be joining. She's going to be managing the chat, but we'll talk a little bit more about that final scholar project and look at the criteria. Once again, we do send out emails, so please pay attention, but we will also review it here, because sometimes I know there's a lot going on. Just a little bit about me. I can go on and on, but it's not about me. I'm not an old G. People call me auntie. So that's a new thing for me, because I don't think of myself as an auntie, but I guess I am. But currently I lead and I oversee operations at a nonprofit. I've held C-suite and senior leadership roles in various industries, such as banking, insurance, higher education, finance, etc. I had a previous consulting business in training and development, project management, and financial services with a team in New Jersey many, many years ago. But I recently, during the height of COVID, started a part-time consulting business. So even though I work full-time, leading IT and overseeing operations, I do have a part-time consulting business. But during the height of COVID, just like many of you, right, I'm revisiting, or several of you, I'm revisiting, do I still want to, do I still have the same vision and mission for that business pre-COVID that I have now? So you are not alone. Many people and even adults, right? We're revisiting our lives during that after that time, and we're reevaluating. Plus, with all that's going on economically, it's always good to be a student, and always smart to constantly examine where you are, where the industry is going, and if you're aligned with that, right? And does your passion align with that, which we'll talk more about. I love to travel. I just returned from St. Croix, Virgin Islands a few weeks ago. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, which is where I currently reside. I live by the beach. I have a mom. I'm a mom. I have a mom. I'm a mom of a 22-year-old who attends college in Arizona, which is where I lived for 18 years. And I love to swim and play tennis. But what I'm really focused on is right now is I'm a huge NBA nut. So if you are an NBA nut, I would love to talk to you more about that. We can chop it up. I am a Golden State Warriors fan. Don't ask me how that happened. It's a long story. People are like, oh, but you live in New York, or you're from New York. Don't worry about all of that. I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, and we will win this year. And if not, put it in the chat. I want to hear who your team is, and let me know why you think they're going to win. But let's get into it. March Madness. I know, right? See, Morgan, just change your name. I don't know if it's changed, but just make sure we have your full name. But absolutely, March Madness is going on. So let's look at a review from day one. Day one, Professor J talked about the types of businesses, and you discussed the different types of businesses. There's goods producing businesses that are in that sector, and those are businesses that produce tangible goods. And rather, there's goods that produce tangible goods in many different sectors, excuse me. And then there's service-oriented businesses that provide services, but that don't make any goods at all. And so I know you had a robust discussion about that. He talked a little bit about, and you all learned a little bit about the difference between a small business and a big business. And I remember someone asked a question about, how many employees, if I have X amount of employees, but have this amount of revenue, am I still considered a small business, right? And so I know there was some discussion about that. And just as a refresher, the Small Business Administration, for its purposes, does not consider a business with more than 500 employees or 7 million in total annual receipts to be a small business. So, that's sort of the guidelines that we're going to use for the purposes of this class. You may Google and find a different definition, but that's the definition that we're going to be using for the purposes of this course. So just want to make sure that you have that and remember that as we move forward. Where you started to go on Tuesday as well was you started to talk a little bit about the components of a strategic business plan. And you looked at a vision statement and a mission statement. And then the other two that we really didn't kind of get into much because of time was the other pieces to building a strategic business plan, which is goals, having an action plan, and a scorecard. So we're going to get to all of these four tonight, but we're really going to spend time on having you go back to your vision statement and your mission statement. So just a little bit about sort of where we're going to land. Does anyone, or I should ask, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot a little bit, Jada or Prince or Roberto, you having existing businesses, have you ever created a strategic business plan before?
For me, I have started doing that when I was in a class for Columbia University.
Okay, awesome. Okay,
All right, for
phenomenal.
like for me, you can hear me?
That was Roberto. Who's talking now?
Yeah, that was me. Can you hear me?
Okay.
All right. So, personally, I like I mapped out it a couple of times, just like my rundown of like what I want to accomplish, like what I want to do. So I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. And well, why is that important for you to have?
Well, I'd say it's like milestones that you have to reach, and just like a way to like know like how you're gonna do things, so that like when you actually do it, like it just unfolds. So.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Roberto. And what's really important too is we haven't, I mean, again, this is the second class. You're in the fundamentals courses, but Roberto knows, right? And those who also have businesses and those who may, and all of you will be thinking about starting a business. It's important to have that business plan for financial reasons, right? If you go to the bank, they're not going to go on your good looks or the fact that you're passionate or motivated. They don't care, right? They're looking to see how much thought have you put into and what is your, plan for how you're going to run your business and what kind of investments you're going to make in your business, what kind of profits you're looking to make into your business, why you're actually having your business, who's your target market, like who are you going after? So there's a lot of reasons to have that document. And what I love what Roberto said, which is what all good business owners do, is to refine it, right? Because oftentimes the market changes, things change. Maybe there's an infusion of cash into your business, and it's like, wow, I can now tell, I can now go for a more a higher business loan, maybe because I'm making more money, but I also need more money to grow the business and scale it, right? So it's important to have a document that you can look at and edit and revise, and you know what you're doing and why you're doing it so that you don't get off track. A document that you can share with banks, which you'll learn more about as we go down down the road with these classes, particularly around credit worthiness and financing. But then also that you can share with potential investors. Maybe there's, I know my cousin recently came to us and wanted us to invest in some property that she has in Baltimore. And the first thing we said was, well, where's your business plan? Where's your projections? And she didn't have any of that. And she wanted to $250,000. And I don't know why she came to me, first of all, but I do have people that have that kind of money, but no one's going to take anyone seriously just because someone maybe had success in the past or they're a family member, right? They're going to want to see a document, a roadmap of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and where you're going. Okay. So before you even develop a strategic business plan, and we're going to come back to this as it's going to be sort of the anchor of a lot of what you're going to be learning throughout the next couple of weeks, I wanted to kind of revisit this question about entrepreneurship, because as I learned listening to you on Tuesday, some of you have a good idea about what you want to do, but others may not. And that's okay. That's truly okay, right? I wonder though, after that discussion on Tuesday, if you've given thought about what is an entrepreneur. So I'm going to open the floor. Can anyone, and we're not looking for scholarly answers here, right? What is your definition of an entrepreneur? Would anyone like to share?
I could share.
Thank you, Chris.
My definition of an entrepreneur is someone who creates and operates their own business. They can use it from strategic planning
Mhm.
or other ways and methods. Like you said, those can include creating a goods or a service type of business.
Excellent. Excellent. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Anyone else like to share? Again, not looking for scholarly answers, just looking for what you
I have
think
a
an
very
entrepreneur is.
similar answer to the last person who spoke. I think it's an individual who has an idea
Mhm.
and decides to jump off the idea and actually create a business or a company off of the idea and successfully completes the mission.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Absolutely. Absolutely. Love that answer too, Maria Elena. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you said my
Yeah.
name right.
Yes, I work for just so you know, I work for a Latina reproductive justice organization. So I'm around Latina, Latinx all day.
I feel like nobody can ever say my name right. Like some people, they're like, "Oh, is your name this?" And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I guess that's my name. Like, I have a new name every day.
I love it. You were very gracious on Tuesday too. You're very gracious, Maria Elena. Thank you for your response. One last, anyone else want to weigh in? What is an entrepreneur?
All right, I would say that an entrepreneur is somebody who like has an idea. Really, has they said this, like they touched upon it. An entrepreneur is somebody who's like has an idea, and uses that idea with a business to like reach a end goal or like a mission or like something that they want to like change or accomplish. Really.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Change or accomplish. Absolutely, Roberto. Thank you for that. And by the way, just so you all know, this is new to me. I can't see your faces, which make me crazy, but I can see when you're talking. So if you're laughing or something, I can't tell, which makes me crazy. But thank you. I can see your names. Thank you for that. Absolutely. So, I'm going to give you what the definition is that we researched in terms of what we found. So based on Oxford Languages, the definition of an entrepreneur, and you're welcome to take a screenshot of this if you want to get it in your guts tonight, or wait until it's posted to the Google Drive, write it down, whatever makes you happy. Okay, we all learn differently. The definition of an entrepreneur is a person who organizes and operates a business or businesses taking on greater than normal financial risks in order to do so. Merriam-Webster also defines it as one who organizes, manages, and takes on the risk of a business or enterprise. So it's everything that was already shared. And thank you, scholars, for weighing in. But this is the formal definition if you need one. And all of you are aspiring to do that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, right? And I'm sure you have your own verbiage of how you would describe an entrepreneur, which aligns with this. So I'm loving it already. What do you think, as you think about yourself, right? So some of you, again, you're thinking about it. What characteristics do you think you need to be a successful entrepreneur? Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Or if we haven't heard from you, if Professor Jay or I haven't heard from you, jump in on the audio, right? But what are characteristics of a successful entrepreneur? Or name people, if you can't think of the characteristics, who are people who you think are successful entrepreneurs? And we'll talk
There's
little.
a few responses in the chat. To be a good leader, creativity, socialism, passionate.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. Be a good leader. Hang on, someone wanted me to go backwards. Let me see. I'm on a different computer tonight. I'll go back. We're gonna have a little break, so just remind me. Be a good leader, creativity, socialism, passionate, having a clear vision. Yes, 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 yes. Hardworking, high work ethic, says Corey. I love it. I love it. Determination, Lorena. Oh man, we all need that. Absolutely, my friend. Anyone else? What are the characteristics? How about anyone, when you think about people who are passionate and hardworking, motivated? I love that. Thank you. High work ethic. Who are some of the people that you think embody that, who are successful entrepreneurs? And Samuel and Maria Elena, I'll get to you in just a second. Anyone else? Okay, great. So Samuel, what would you say? What would you like to share?
I mean, I was going to say that when I think of entrepreneurs, I
Mhm.
usually think of boldness and tenacity.
Yeah. Why tenacity, you think, Samuel?
Well, because in the world of business, you have to be aggressive. If you're not going to take a step up and take an action that will help your company, someone else will happily take your place.
You got that right. You got that right. I can think of several industries where that's happening now and has happened. Yeah, good point. Yep, tenacity and boldness. Yes, and I like the word the word aggressive. Sometimes can usually has a connotation or negative connotation, and behaviors where you kind of step on someone to get to where you want. So think about another word, which is very similar but different, which is assertive, right? Which is you asserting yourself, but not, having to trample on people or do unethical things or being bad to people in order to get what you want. But great response, Samuel. Thank you for that. I love that. Maria Elena, you wanted to share as well?
Wait, which question did you want me to answer?
This was, they said you had your hand raised about the characteristics of a successful entrepreneur or
Oh,
somebody,
yeah.
a person you're naming, and I see some in the chat already. Yeah.
Some
Good.
characteristics I think an entrepreneur would have is determination, a person who thinks out of the box, and a good team player, because I feel that although like it's very competitive because everybody is trying to start their own thing, I think that you should still not be as aggressive because, like you said, it has a negative connotation. But I feel you should think, oh, what if I do this? How can this affect me in the future? Or how can this do to me now? Because some people work on they work on impulse, and necessarily, like, I don't think that's the best way to do. I feel like you should think about decisions before you make them. So I feel like that's a very good characteristic an entrepreneur would have. And a person who is determined and has wisdom.
I love all of those. I love them all. And I think that they are absolutely, Maria Elena, attributes and characteristics. You said one that I really want to, I'm going to tie it right back to those who communicated in the chat room around teamwork, right? So we see Victor said Elon Musk, Prince said Steve Jobs, Corey says Jeff Bezos, right? Absolutely, these people, I think anyone, whether we like them or not, whether we agree with their tactics and maybe some of the ways that they've done things, are successful, in many different ways. But one of the people that I think, if you think about the word teamwork, that has really disrupted things has been Elon Musk, right? When he bought Twitter, and he's, bossing people around and telling people what to do, and just kind of being aggressive and yielding his power and being a bully and being impulsive, allegedly, right? From what people are reporting. And that's not going to build a team. At the end of the day, we all want to be treated with respect and dignity. We all want to know that what we do matters. And we can have a longer conversation about that. But Maria Elena brought up one of the attributes that I think is one of the most important, and it is teamwork. Because without your team, you can't get anything done, right? Elon Musk cannot run Twitter by himself. He needs people, right? Steve Jobs needed people. Jeff Bezos. I love, Janaea, Macy Jameson, right? Needed people around them to be able to drive or to accomplish their business goals. And so that we'll talk more about that hopefully down the road, but really think about that. I know when I was in my earlier years, I was aggressive, right? I was kind of a bad A, right? And I it's just sort of sometimes leadership, you take it to a different, another level. But as you mature and grow, and as you lose people, or you get feedback and you're receptive to feedback, and you take courses like what you're all doing now, you surround yourself with other leaders, you learn that you need people, and you have to like people. And oh, by the way, they have to like you too. That's a whole other story, right? Let's keep going. So great feedback, everyone. I'm loving it. But I just wanted to share a few that we thought of here. The instructor team, a creative, passionate, motivated, optimistic, future-oriented. These are just some. I added disciplined and prepared. I think preparedness is one of the key things that entrepreneurs need. And discipline, because oftentimes, particularly if you're a full-time entrepreneur, sometimes people go, well, I'm going to quit my job and I never have to work again, and I'm going to work for myself. Oh, you better believe you're going to still be working, right? You might even be working harder, right? And that's why it's important to know the why of what you're trying to accomplish, what you're doing and how you're doing it, so that you have a strategic roadmap, discipline, all the things that you all talked about to drive that. So great conversation, everyone.
Wait, sorry, can I add on to
Please.
one of the words you said?
Yes.
When you were saying you needed to be I'm sorry, what was the last word you said? I forgot.
Prepared.
No,
With discipline?
no. After that, yeah, discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in the chat said motivation, but you do need to be motivated. But I feel like discipline is like much like a better term for it, because I'll give you an example. Like, let's say you go to the gym and that's because you're motivated,
Mm-hmm.
but 1 week you're like, oh, I don't feel as motivated this week, so I'm gonna take a break.
Yeah.
And so you stop going to the gym, and then you're like, I'm gonna go back next week. So the cycle goes over and over again. But really, what you really need is you need a I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the word.
Discipline.
But you know
Discipline.
what I'm gonna, yeah, you have to discipline yourself, because
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm not gonna give an example anymore, but I'm gonna jump back to, if you don't have discipline,
Mm-hmm.
and because if you just put your hopes on motivation, let's say you're starting your own business and you're not getting as much customers, you're like, oh, like nobody's gonna shop for me, so I should just stop this automatically. But the harder you work, and the more time you take on your business, I feel like that's what's really gonna help you. So I think that discipline is a very good word that you use, and yeah.
Yeah, that ties back to, Maria Elena, what Samuel said earlier around tenacity, right? I mean, to having that fortitude to keep going. But I got to tell you, and we're going to get into this tonight, and I'm hoping you're starting to at least think about this if you haven't before this class. I definitely want you, and we're going to sort of do some self-reflection around why you are doing it, right? Because I may want to, New Year's resolutions, to your point, Maria Elena. I'm going to go to the gym. I want to lose 5 pounds. Why do I want to lose 5 pounds? What's the motivation, right? Is it to fit into a specific outfit? Is because I was diagnosed, or something, not I, someone was diagnosed with some, maybe a health issue? Is it because the person is running and doing a specific sport and it requires them to be a certain weight? The why is really the motivation. Back to what was said by Wadlika. Oh, I hope I said that right. Please jump on the line and tell me, because I
You said it right.
Oh, I did. Okay, thank you, Wadlika. That's going to give you the fuel to have the discipline and tenacity, but you have to know the why, right? And the combo. Yeah, Andre agreed. Yeah. So let's kind of think about and start to look at again. And I love those of you, and thank you for sharing for those of you that have businesses. But again, you're here, I would think, and based on your feedback so far, because you want to refine, or you're looking maybe to revamp or revise the businesses that you do have. But most of you here don't have a business, but you're thinking about it. And that's all good. There's no better time to think about that than 2023 for many different reasons that we'll talk about. But I want you to kind of think about the kind of business you'd want to start, right? And sometimes you go, well, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. My daughter was here with me from Phoenix. We were in a class together doing some professional development, and she revealed that she thought, well, Mom, everyone's done that already. Especially if you're online a lot and you see people, doing things, and there's a lot of, over advertising and saturation, right? She goes, Mom, everybody did that. I said, no, they didn't. They have not. It just seems to be that way because you're always on this specific platform or you follow this follower. The marketing's designed to target you and saturate you so that you believe that. But that is not that is not the case. Prince, I see you have a question.
Yes. Earlier you said that you worked in multiple businesses. My personal question I have for you is, what kept you motivated?
Yeah, I gotta say, so I'm gonna take my great question, by the way. When I worked in financial services, and that's the business that I had the longest, Prince, it was really around the education. So what I figured out about myself, and there's many, many different things that you can do, whether it's to take a profile assessment, which is another story, or you just kind of start to see common themes about the types of jobs that you pick, or feedback that you get back from your boss, or feedback that you get back from your peers. I really thrive on education. That's why I'm here right now, right? So what kept me going, Prince, was the fact that I could educate people about financial principles and concepts that they had no idea about. They didn't know what a mutual fund was. They didn't know what whole life insurance was versus term life insurance. They didn't know how to invest. They didn't know, rate of return. They didn't know the rule of 72. And so I learned it so that I could educate people so that they could make better decisions.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And I try to, don't get me wrong, right? I've been tempted, and even recently, to put my hand in businesses that seem good. Like everybody's doing it, right? Everybody's a podcaster. First of all, everybody's not a podcaster. That is not true. But then I thought, well, maybe I should be one too. I'm missing out. That's not my calling, right? Not at this specific time. So I really had to get clear about, Rainey, why would you want to be a podcaster? What do you want to accomplish being a podcaster? How is that going to benefit you and your audience being a podcaster? I couldn't think of not one thing. And so sometimes you have to laugh at yourself too, because you can find yourself on a bandwagon that everyone's on, and it's not for you. It might be for someone else. So what might be for Prince may not be for Janaea, right? What Andre decides to pursue may not be for Corey. So here's sort of just some ideas. Again, we only have an hour and a half, and we could spend weeks on this stuff, okay? So, and again, we're just in the fundamentals, so keep that in mind as well. So think about what products or services would make your life easier or happier. That's one way to start dreaming, right? What products or services that make you more productive or efficient or simply give you more time? That's something else to consider. Try to predict market trends in various industries by doing market research. And I'm not quite sure if we're going to get into that in the advanced courses or if that's an assignment. But if not, I certainly can come back and at least steer you in the right direction. Because again, this is, only a few weeks that we all have together, but certainly trying to predict market trends. And how about this is one that's really big and really big since during the height of COVID and even now, and I'm even doing this, right? What hobby or skill can you turn into a business? I love when Professor Jay talked about that he obviously works for Yahoo during that's his day job, but he also is passionate about photography, and he was even underpricing someone's writing. I think that's Samuel. Thank you. You guys have too much power. How's that happening, right? But anyway, that he had a passion for photography, was even underselling the value of his photography, but he loves to do it. So he took that and he monetized a hobby and turns it into a business by monetizing it, by charging for it. How about people knitting? And I don't know if anyone does. I see a lot of people knitting. I saw a woman in Starbucks knitting today. Pet sitting, dog walking. Hey, if you have your dog and you walk your own dog, maybe you sign up on an app and you start walking your neighbor's dogs and 3 others and make money while you're walking your own dog, right? Social media management is big, right? I put buying property in the metaverse. And if you want to talk to me more about that, I have 80 properties in the metaverse right now, which is a whole nother story because I turned a hobby of real estate investing into virtual real estate investing, right? So just something to think about. So I want you to take a few minutes to think about this. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes. And for those of you, everyone that has businesses, take about 3 minutes. And I'd like for you to think about what business would you want to start or have you identified, right? And here again are just those examples that I shared before, if you will. So let's take 3 minutes and I'll put a timer up. I'm big on timers.
Miss,
Yes, ma'am.
someone has their hand raised.
Oh, thank you so much. Who is it? And please go because I can't see. I'm going to stop sharing. Hi.
It's Andre.
Hi, I got a question. So how do you not turn your hobby into not it's only making money at some point? It's like you forget that you actually love what you're doing, and it just turns into a money making process where then you lose your interest, because that happens to people. So how do you avoid that happening?
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what I said before, right? So I could invest in a business that sells widgets, for example, and I can turn that into a money-making machine, and I can hire people and they could run that business, and I just get passive income from that business, right? But I can't be too far away from it because I actually own, manage, and control that business. And so it goes back to, and this is why the businesses that are sustainable and that are sustained are the ones that people align with through passion, through purpose, and through interest. And those that don't, Andre, usually people will sell them off. They'll wait till they get to a certain profit, reach a certain profit margin, and the smart people will sell them off. That happens a lot. But the ones where it isn't sustainable or where bad things happen, like people are defrauding the business and people are ripping the business off, or the customers are giving bad reviews about the products and services, it's because the owner has taken his or her eye off the business because they don't really care about the product or service. And that's why we're going to spend some time really thinking about the why. Why are you doing this? Right? In a little bit. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop talking for 2 minutes, but think about, I'll put that PowerPoint back up. I'm sorry. Because I think you would want to see it to answer those questions, and then we'll come back. Good, great question, Andre, by the way. Thanks for asking.
Thank you for answering.
Absolutely. Okay, here we go. One more minute, everyone. So once again, you're writing down what type of, and let it just flow out of you. Don't just stay with one, right? Think about that hobby turned business. Is it yard work? Is it software training? Homemade soap making, selling on eBay, right? One more minute. And also
Wait, I have
ask
a question.
the why. Yeah, Mariana.
For each bullet point, is it like a different type of business, or is it like the same one?
It could be, if you're definitive and you know that you have one, like you're locked into it, then just do one.
Because I did have an idea the last class that we had, and it doesn't really have anything with selling. I mean, I guess it does. Like it's like a therapy, but
Yes, I remember that. Yes. And you seem very passionate about that. You explained why and the importance of low-income families having access to mental health services. I don't know that you should deviate from that because you sounded, you really gave that some thought.
yeah.
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 Yeah. So just hang on to that one. 20 more seconds. Thank you, Professor Rosie. Thank you so much for managing the chat. Thank you so much. And all of you are doing a great job in the chat. So keep it coming. Again, I can see the chat. I just can't see when someone has their hand raised. Oh, that's right. Professor Latoya. Sorry. Anyone who's out there helping me, thank you. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing because I'm going to read something to you. We're going to take a break and then we're going to come back and spend the rest of our time really focused on the components of a strategic plan that we really want to spend that we really want to spend time on, because that's going to be the essence of your S.O.A.R project, and regardless of which avenue you decide to choose, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But here's an example of an exercise that someone that one of the leading business leaders did that I wanted to read to you. So when he was asked why do you want to start this business, he said, to make more money. And then he said, why is this important to you? And so he said, oh, to get out of debt. I want to make more money to get out of debt. Then the question was, well, why do you want to get out of debt? And so he says, to stop working so hard to pay someone else. And so the next question was, why is it important for you to stop working so hard to pay someone else? And he said, because I want to do things in my life without with the fruits of my labor, excuse me. I want to do things in my life with the fruits of my labor. And then the next question was, why is it important for you to do things in your life with the fruits of your labor? And he said, to take care of his mother, who is widowed and needs help. And then it was like, well, why is it important for you to take care of your mother? And he said, well, because she's everything to me. She sent me to college. I want to make sure she's taken care of in her golden years. And then lastly, it said, well, why is it important to take care of her in her golden years? And essentially, he said, because I just really want to be in control of my life so I can help those around me, including my mother, so that they know that they are precious, worthy, and loved. I'm going to post this. It's called the 7 levels deep exercise. We don't have time to go through it, but I will put it in the Google Drive for you. Because we don't have time to do it. We're going to do maybe 1 or 2 layers here, but I still want you to continue to peel the onion. If it's not in your gut, like Maria Elena, who spent a lot of time sharing on Tuesday about how passionate she is about mental health services, and you're still kind of waffling around, I really want you to think about it in this way. Is there anyone who'd like to share before we go to break? in terms of maybe you had an aha moment as we were talking, preferably to someone who hasn't shared would be great. Did you have an aha moment, or did you have a business in mind before and you thought, no, I really don't want to do that. I really want to do something else. I was just lying to myself.
I could share what I wrote down.
Thanks. Yeah, please.
I want to start a tech business because since I was very young, I was very interested in technology, and in 8th grade, I always wanted to be electrical engineer or a mechanical engineer. So I thought if I can implement both of that into a tech business, I could bring technology into the next level.
Man, anything IT right now is just sizzling. Not everything, I should say, but what you're describing, Prince Pierre, is absolutely a viable option. Yeah, definitely. Love it. Anyone else? All right. Okay, well, let's take a couple of minutes and take a quick stretch break, grab some water. Do come back. Don't disappear. I'll put it on a timer and then let's everybody return at 7:30. All right. Have a great break. Stay hydrated, please. Oh, thank you. I was going to hit the music. Thank you, whoever you guys are all.
Yeah. It's been 2 days. You stopped talking. No, you mad. I'm not walking. No, my calls. Straight to voicemail. Threatened to break up. Cut out your makeup. Now you passive aggressive. I'm hoping for better. Storms we can weather if we work together. Cause you have my heart. I knew from the start that you were the one to change my world. Change my world. We can't get nowhere with silence. Tear down these walls. Talk to me. Talk to me. Don't let our pride make us strangers. This can't break us. Super, talk to me.
Yeah, I stay out in the rain, praying for the sunshine to take away the pain. She got an attitude, cause she know my game, I'm having troubles. I can conquer, hopefully, Now check it, I always been reckless, can't check it. Coronary stone in a necklace, she wear every even out just to even it out. Try and lead those eyes, no doubts, yeah. Notice all that struggle, can't speak but you got a muzzle. Got me stressed puzzles, so I do puzzles. Putting pieces together but can't find a couple. I could do better but can't do without you. Oh, something on your mind, just say it, yeah. Silence of your mind, racing. I mean you physically here, yeah, but your mind is vacant. She called like I'm upset, yeah, I'm like, what's next? Super.
We can't get nowhere with silence. Tear down these walls. Talk to me. Talk to me. Don't let our pride make us strangers. This can't break us. Talk to me. Yeah. When love's on the line, don't give up. One of us has to be bigger. My darling, my love, my love. We can't get nowhere with silence. Tear down these walls. Talk to me. Talk to me. Don't let our pride make us strangers. This can't break us. Talk to me. Talk to me. Oh, you can talk to me. Too many brothers laying down in the street. Yeah. One of them brothers look just like me, yeah. One day we'll make it over. I don't fear no man. Only the one that saved my soul, and the change is coming. When I'm done, he'll take me home. The hand of the Lord all over me. I don't know what tomorrow brings. We raise the sun. It's a new day. It's a new day. I don't know what tomorrow brings. We raise the sun. The shotgun go bang, bang. Yeah, bang in the street. Lord, keep your hand, my Lord, all over me. Shotgun go bang, bang in the street. Lord, keep your hand, 'cause it's a new day. Oh, one day we'll make it over. Yeah, it's too much for even shoulders to bear. I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. You say you love me, but you kill my friend, yeah. One day we'll make it over. I don't fear no man. Only the one that saved my soul, and the change is coming. And when I'm done, he'll take me home. The hand of the Lord all over me. I don't know what tomorrow brings. We raise the sun, the shotgun go bang.
5 minutes, 5 minutes,
Bang in the
everyone.
street, Lord, keep your hand, 'cause it's a new day. Oh, one day we'll make it over, yeah. It's too much for even shoulders to bear. I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. You say you love me, but you kill my friend, yeah. One day we'll make it over. I don't fear no man, only the one who saved my soul. Change is coming, done, he'll take me home. Hand of the Lord all over me. I don't know, but we raise the sun. It's a new day. It's a new day. I don't know, but we raise the sun. So tell Martin I had a dream. Tell Malcolm by any means. Oh yeah. Every day I wake up, drink from a new cup, full of your grace, full of your grace. I'ma need a re-up, gotta get a re-up, every day, cause I'm lost right now, I'm so lost right now, all these thoughts right now, all these thoughts right now, I'm so lost right now, I'm so lost right now, fill me up, you don't see the old me, homie, it's a new us. Even when I mess up, pour me a new cup. I just wanna reach out, brother in the big house. What we gonna do now? What we gonna do now? All these thoughts right now. All these thoughts right now. Every day I wake up, drink from a new cup, full of your grace, full of your grace. I'ma need a re-up, gotta get a re-up, every day, cause I'm lost right now, I'm so lost right now, all these thoughts right now, all these thoughts right now, I'm so lost right now, I'm so lost right now, fill me up, it was like 03, you ain't even know me, country boy still here, something like an OG.
2 minutes,
I just wanna
2
reach
minutes,
out,
everybody.
keep you out the big house, show you what the night bout, show you what the night bout, all these thoughts right now, I might switch like wow, Yeah, leave my fears and doubt. All these thoughts right now, I might switch like wow. Yeah, leave my fears and doubts. All these thoughts right now. All these thoughts right now. Every day I wake up, drink from a new cup, full of your grace, full of your grace. I'm gonna need
1 minute, 1 minute, everyone, 1 minute.
every day, cause I'm lost right now. I'm so lost right now. All these thoughts right now, all these thoughts right now. I'm so lost right now. I'm so lost right now. Fill me up, fill me up. Every day I wake up, drink from a new cup, full of your grace, full of your grace. I'ma need a re-up, gotta get a re-up.
Okay, everyone, let's bring it back. Welcome back, welcome back, come on back. Thank you for not going too far away. We'll give it another few seconds and then we'll jump right back in. Just a reminder, if you have not sent your personal email address in the chat to the co-host of this meeting, please do so. We want to make sure that you all have access to that Google Drive so that you can have access to all of these resources. Yeah. All right, so let's jump back in. So we're going to talk a little bit about the components of a strategic business plan. This is not going to be the first time you see this, or excuse me, the first and the last, I should say, the last time that you see this. This is going to be, again, the bedrock for whether you are going to be doing, regardless of which scholar project you decide to do. So we're going to touch on it. Well, I'll try to go as deep as we can based on the time allotted. But again, keep in mind, this is not the last time that we'll be talking about this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get us right into it. Bear with me 1 second. Let's see what we've got here. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. So this is where I definitely want you to take notes and rough notes, right? Again, you're going to get the PowerPoint, but let me recap for you, since I can't have both screens up at the same time, the components of a strategic business plan. So be sure to write this down. It is a vision statement. It is a mission statement. It is goals. And then it's an action plan and scorecard. I'll repeat one more time. A vision statement, a mission statement, goals, an action plan, and a scorecard. And that is really the key components of a strategic plan that we're going to use, and that really makes up a strategic plan. We talked about, or Professor Jay and you all talked about, what a vision statement is. And really, when you think about it, and I believe he shared his, and you all were thinking about yours as well, it is the goal that you want your business to accomplish, but that you want your business to achieve. And so it can be something that's as a statement that is stated in a few words. It could be a few sentences. It's really up to you in terms of what the essence is that tells your employees and your customers what direction your business is headed in. So here are some examples. These are pretty succinct. You can imagine these large companies, these are, the vision statements could be really, really, a paragraph or two, right? But that wouldn't be transferable, right? It has to be something, when you think about, for example, the Scholar project, the elevator pitch that many of you are going to be doing. When someone says, what is your elevator pitch? It can't be three paragraphs long, and no one really understands where the direction that your company's headed in. So these are a few examples. When you think about Amazon, I thought, well, they're really accomplishing this. They do so much, as well as these other companies. How could they say they want to be the world's best, Amazon Prime and Amazon, the Twitch and all these companies that they own and all the different things that they do? They simply said they want to be the Earth's most customer-centric company. So I want you to really hold on to this description, because this is where we're going to spend tonight. We're going to spend tonight having you look at your vision statement and write the next draft of that. And then we're also going to look at our mission statement if time is permitting. Let me look in the chat. I want to make sure. Oops, someone says they don't see anything on the screen. Is that true? Oh, try refreshing. Uh-oh. I'm so sorry.
And if you're on your phone, you may have to scroll all the way to the left to see the screen that's being shared.
Okay. I'm on my computer. Is everyone else able to see it? Or?
Yes, we can all see it.
Oh, perfect. Okay, super. Thank you. All right. So that's a little bit about what a vision statement is. And again, we'll make sure we revisit that one more time before I send you sort of in this self-reflection activity. A mission statement is kind of similar, but it really includes more specific details and actions. So it talks a little bit about what your company does and explains to people outside of your company why you exist. Again, I can't emphasize enough that your vision and your mission statement should be succinct. It should be intelligible. So if someone says, what is your mission? What is it that you do? Why are you doing it? Where are you headed? That it's not a dissertation, right? It is something very simple. Let's look at a few more examples, or let's look at some examples, excuse me, of a mission statement. So Patagonia, the clothing company, to build the best product, causing no unnecessary harm, use business to inspire and implement solutions to environmental crisis, right? And here are some of the others. I love it. When I think of, and I don't have their vision or mission statement in front of me, definitely during the height of COVID, one company who I really followed very closely was Ben & Jerry's. And people think that Ben & Jerry's is an ice cream company, and they're actually not. They describe themselves as a social justice company that sells ice cream, right? And when you study that company, that's actually very, very true. They have their hand in many different causes, and they are hugely involved in a lot of organizations and partner with a lot of organizations around social justice. So I just wanted to drop that on you as well when you start thinking about the succinctness that you should have. And that can be, we all understand what that means, right? Or if we go back to CVS, helping people on a path to better health, we all understand what that means. It's not mumbo jumbo. It's not techno speak. It's not this and that and words that people can't understand. It's very, very simple. Let's look at, and I'm going to have this link. Actually, there's actually, it's a link, or it's actually a copy of this in the Google Drive. So you'll be able to revisit this for homework, right? Goals and objectives, which we're not going to get into tonight too much, but I just wanted to touch on it so that it starts to become somewhat familiar to you. The goals and objectives should be included in your strategic plan and should align with your mission and vision. This is a problem actually that my day job, the company, is having right now. We have no strategic plan. We have no strategic plan for the next 3 years. And it's a scary time for many people because we don't know where we're going. So that means that, yes, we all show up to work and yes, we are doing things, but we don't have a North Star that we're after. We're just kind of showing up, working every day, but we don't really have a North Star or a vision or mission that we are after. And that's because we have new leadership, and she hasn't had a time yet to define that, but it's crucial. People will not stay around if they don't understand or invest money in you, by the way, or do business with you. If you don't understand your mission, your vision, and then what you're trying to accomplish and how you're going to get there. Here's a reason why strategy fails, right? Where people, when you think about people have goals or they create goals around what they want to accomplish, it should be a goal or objective that's not impossible to achieve. It has to be something that stretches you or your company, but it can't be something that's so far out that people go, I can't even see that, right? It's not even in this universe. It's not even a North Star. It's out of this. It's in the galaxy somewhere, right? So oftentimes it's really because people are using the wrong measurement. We'll talk more about that. You have to measure what you manage. I want you to remember that. Whatever you manage, and it goes back to that question that was asked earlier, you have to measure it. How's it doing? What's our revenue look like? Well, how are employees happy? Are our customers happy? Are we making a difference? Are we doing what we say we want to do? There's also a lack of leadership. And this is the reason why we're making sure that you have a business plan as part of one of the options for your Scholar project. You have to be able to have that. And being a leader is something that requires you to have that vision, the mission, and all the answers. People are looking to you, whether you think about it or not. And you need to look to you, even if it's only you, right? Poor communication. Maybe you have a mission or vision or goals that you're after, but you've never told anybody. So no one knows, why are we going in this direction? Do some of you ever wonder, and just put a yes or no in the chat, because that's all I can see. When your boss comes up to you, if you work a part-time job, or even maybe your parents, and they come home and they might be complaining like, oh my God, my boss asked me to do this, and what in the heckaroonie are we doing this for? Has that ever happened to you? And you go, why are we doing this? Just seems silly, right? It's because the leadership has not communicated or reinforced what the vision or mission is, or there isn't one. And then you don't know why you're doing what you're doing because there's no goals and objectives. And that's where my company is. It's a very scary time. We lost, out of the 55 people that we have working for us, we lost 21 people over during the height of COVID, because people thought, I can't hang around here and waffle and waver, because I want to show up and I want to make a difference. And I work for a nonprofit, so making a difference is really important to people who are cause and mission driven, right? Having an action plan is going to be super, super key to the as part of your strategic plan. And again, we're gonna spend more time on this. I just want to sort of have your mind thinking about these 4 attributes, as well as these 4 components rather, so that when you see them on Tuesday, or Professor Jay starts talking about this, you go, oh yeah, Professor Rainey mentioned this. Now we're going to go deeper, and it's not foreign to you, right? So let me check the chat. I do see some activity there. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. Any thoughts though that anyone, many of you go, yeah, why the heck are we doing this, right? Any questions or thoughts around anything that I've shared, or that that may have come to mind?
I have a question.
Sure.
It's kind of a personal question.
Okay, if it's that
you,
personal, I don't know if I can answer, but you go ahead. But ask.
Have you seen or experienced a business that had poor communication or poor leadership?
The one that I'm working in right now, yes.
Are you able to provide an example of what specific issue it had and what they would do to fix it, if possible?
Yeah, so what they're doing now is because we're missing, like I said, we had 55 people. We now only have 34 because 21 people left during the height of COVID. So because we don't have some key senior leaders that can make strategic decisions, they hired a strategic planning company. And that company has come in now, and they're working with our executive director, which is like the CEO, and our finance person, to build a strategic plan and help her to create a mission and vision statement. So that's happening actually as we speak. They actually hired someone because they don't have the skill, the administrative and business skill to do it. They don't know how to do it. So they hired someone.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question, Prince Pierre. Any other thoughts or questions? And then we're gonna sort of take a couple of minutes. All right. All right, so let's go back. I'm gonna go ahead and share and let's see. Here we go. All right, so, oops, hold on. Okay, so we're gonna look back at your vision and mission statements that you started, or your vision statement for sure that you started with Professor Jay on Tuesday.
Professor Rainey, I'm so sorry. This is Rosie. We did have a couple of questions in the chat. I just wanted to make sure we didn't overlook them.
Oh,
And I know you can't see, so I'm actually going through them now.
okay.
Sorry, I was multitasking, but we have one from Janaya. So when you are building a business, you are also creating a company? She's asking a question.
Mm-hmm. When you're building a business, are you also creating a company? Yes, you are. In short, if that's the short question, that's the short answer. Was that the only question?
Yes, everyone else was just responding to one of your asks. So
Okay.
yes, we're good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, so here we go. So I wanted to share with you, because I mentioned to you before I cut you loose for a couple of minutes, what the vision statement is, because I forgot who asked us on Tuesday. It was a great question. You asked Professor Jay, what's your vision and mission statement for your photography business? I believe that was asked. And so my consulting business right now dabbles in a few things, but it's definitely, the focus is to build generational wealth, but in a ethical way. So the vision statement that I have is to create generational wealth by making sound, ethical investments in value-added projects, goods, and services to create economic, systemic wealth and prosperity for my family. Keep in mind, the reason why I'm talking in the reason why mine is written this way is because I'm the only employee, right? So it doesn't have like for our family or for the whole. It's me right now until I build a team and go full time. The mission is well, I hear, but then I say we. So I am committed to providing goods and services and/or experiences to people nationwide that make a positive impact in the lives of individuals, families, and communities. So notice that I'm not saying I just want to make money. I just want to get, I just want to, have a good time, right? That's all a byproduct, but really, why am I doing this, right? And what's important to me is, and that I always want to keep in the forefront of my mind, specifically because when I was a CEO, you'd be surprised the kind of shenanigans that go on behind the scenes that people come to you with, right? You have to, maintaining my integrity and operating in an ethical manner is extremely important to me. So because I'm mentioning wealth, I also wanted to also emphasize that I pride myself on doing it ethically. And that's me. So let me go back, I jumped the gun. So let's take a minute and let's go back to, excuse me, your vision statement. And I'm gonna have you take a couple of minutes to write down the vision statement for the potential business that you identified. And go back to that draft that you created on Tuesday, or a new one, if you didn't have one. Or if you thought, I don't want to do that, I want to do something else. What's your vision for that company? And what's your mission? Questions? Okay, let's take 5 minutes. And I really take this time, team and scholars, to do this, okay? 5 minutes, so we'll come back in, oops, oh boy. 4 minutes, 7:52.
Hi, Professor Rainey. This is Tiana. I see a chat question. Someone asked if you could repeat. Khalil asked if you could repeat.
I muted myself. I'm sorry. Hi, Khalil and everyone. So you're writing down the vision for the company that you want to create, for the business that you want to create. What is your vision and what is your mission for that business? And some of you already started that work on Tuesday. So you're going to go back to that vision statement and write down for your vision statement where your company aspires to go. And then for your mission statement, what is the purpose, right? What are you committed to? I hope that helped.
Okay, thank you.
You got it. Thank you so much for asking. And thank you, Janaea. Oops. One more minute, one more minute. Okay, so I was going to do breakout rooms. We are going to definitely be out of time, but I wanted to hear, how was that for you? How was that? Did anyone get a chance? And you can now use the features, and I've stopped sharing so I can see everything. Using either your reactions button or putting in the chat. How many people were able to create at least what you think is a good first or second draft of your vision statement? Okay. Oh, I was gonna say it's not, no, not just you, Prince Pierre. No. Okay. Oh, good, Mariana, good, excellent. Andre, excellent to all of you. Love it. Wadlika, Victor, thank you, Victor. Yep, Derek, awesome. Excellent, excellent. Love it. Okay, so again, we're building, we're refining over the next couple of weeks, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't be too hard on yourself. What I just want you to remember is what the difference is between the two, and you're going to revisit that when you look at the PowerPoint and the notes, if you would. How about a mission statement? How'd you feel about that? Was everyone able to create a better second, or at least start? a draft of your mission statement? Give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat. Okay, awesome. Oh, good. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Corey, thank you. Yes, yes. So a few of you haven't responded. I see some of your heads down, so I'm assuming you're still writing. So keep this going, right? This is not the end of the time that you should be spending on this. We're going to come back formally, as I mentioned, as a group, but this should not be the only time that you're looking at this. I really want you to think about your business, and again, that 7 levels deep exercise that I'm going to put in Google Drive right after this class, right? But you won't have access to it if we don't have your personal email address and you haven't signed up, so that you can really keep it fresh in your mind, right? So thank you to all of you who have responded. Johan, thank you as well. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So let's look at it. I'm going to ask my esteemed colleagues who are helping me out on the back end. Thank you. I want to talk about why are we doing this? Yes, Maria Elena, yes. And that was the purpose. I did want us to share. I did, but we're going to be out of time. Yes, I do want you to read your vision statement. So let's take that as an action item, either with Professor Jay or when I come back to it. We'll do that because I do want to hear. I do want to hear. Thank you for that. So we're going to talk, why are we doing this, right? We know why we're doing it, but what are we building towards as it relates to this the S.O.A.R program and why you're here, right? And it all sort of leads to your S.O.A.R project. And an email was sent out by Professor Rosie last night, the board chairwoman of the board of S.O.A.R, reminding us about not only the logistics of things that we need to be thinking about, but your S.O.A.R project. So you're going to start to hear every instructor. Right now, it's just me and Professor Jay talking about this, and you're going to see it in email over and over and over again. So if I mess this up, or even if I may even stop, Professor Rosie or Professor Toya, would you be so kind to maybe, because you have more passion around, I mean, I have passion, but it's in your gut. Can you share about the S.O.A.R project?
Yes, absolutely. What time is it? It's 7:56. Sorry. I'm gonna ask Miss Tiana if she can go on and drop the Google survey in the chat. So while I'm explaining it, you all can also be completing the survey. This is an amazing class. Oh my goodness, amazing. I did not want it to end. So Maria Lana, I get it. I understand. All right. So Miss Tiana, if you wouldn't mind just putting the survey in the chat. And then as far as the S.O.A.R projects, we have 2 options for you all. And we'll continue to discuss this and kind of go over it so you all are familiar with what's being asked of you. But the first option is here, the business plan framework. And then we have the guided research outline, right? Not everybody wants to become an entrepreneur. Maybe you want to go off to college, or maybe you want to research a business or an organization that you're interested in possibly becoming employed with someday, right? So those are the options. And, you know, the description or the outline for your mission statement, vision statement, everything that Professor Rainey so eloquently covered today, and Professor Jay on Tuesday, that's what you guys are going to outline, right? You're going to put that on, whether you type it out, you put it on a piece of paper, you're going to outline your mission statement, your vision statement, your goals, objectives, action plan, and SWOT analysis. We didn't cover that today, but it will be covered. Professor Dre will be covering that in the fundamentals of business and applications of business and applications of entrepreneurship. So those are the upcoming classes. So he will cover the SWOT analysis at great length. And then we have the guided research outline. Again, if it's something that, you know, entrepreneurship doesn't necessarily interest you, but maybe you want to research an organization, a college of your choice, you're going to identify some information on them. You're going to do a little bit of research. Doesn't have to be much. Again, there's no page minimum or maximum requirement. It's due at the end of this series. And then you will use that as the basis to formulate your elevator pitch. Okay. And again, that's what these Wednesday hours are for, the virtual office hours are for. So if you have any questions, you want to brainstorm, we had a great session yesterday with about 5 or 6 students on the line, scholars on the line. So you're going to continue doing that on the Wednesdays as well as during the series. Okay. Are there any questions?
When this is due?
This is due at the end of the series. But you're going to continue working on it as we go along. You're going to build on it, right? You don't want it to be something that you're doing all at one time at the end of the series, right? You want to build on it, okay? So that at the end of the series, you have your strategic plan and what will eventually become your business plan, okay? Or again, your guided research. All right. Any other questions?
Yes, there's a question in the chat. For the second option, can they use Google Slides?
You absolutely can. So when the presentations are actually going to be done in the advanced series, you absolutely can. If you want to do Google Slides, absolutely. And you can just build on that as you enter the advanced series. Because that's when we're going to cover about business writing. We're going to cover resume, but we're going to do all of that stuff there. And that's how you're going to continue to build. So you learn how to put your presentation together. Professor Latoya is going to do an excellent job at kind of going over, covering the basics of, having a very well put together presentation. Okay. So absolutely, you can work on that framework now if you'd like as well. Any other questions? Hopefully everybody's gotten the survey.
This is off topic, but for the advancement program, is that a different application, or is it gonna
No, it continues right into the advanced. So you get a week off and then you start. Now, if you didn't apply, so in the application itself, it asks if you wanted to do both the fundamentals and the advanced, or if you just wanted to do the fundamentals. If you selected the fundamentals and now you want to do the advanced, that's absolutely fine. You absolutely can, and we encourage you to do so. We'll just, we'll modify or have you go back in and modify your application so that it includes both the fundamentals and the advanced. So that's an easy fix.
Okay, no, I did. I believe I did, but
okay.
You guys could recheck for me. That would be really
absolutely. We'll check everybody and we'll send out an email to let you know like what you're registered for. And if you're interested in registering for the advanced series as well, we can work that out with you. Not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
All right, you as well. Any other questions? And then Professor Rainey is going to end the class for us, but make sure you all put those surveys in or actually respond to the surveys first before you drop off the line, please. Take it away, Professor Rainey.
Oh, well, that's it. That's what more is there to be said. Thank you all for your contribution and for your engagement. I see a lot of you writing, those of you that have not maybe spoken up yet. It's all good. We see you working in the background. So we appreciate your engagement. This is for you. And that's why I recap what you accomplished. I can't emphasize enough that if you have not provided your personal email address, please drop it in the chat now, because you're going to miss out on a whole bunch of goodies and resources, and you're going to need that, right? But here's what you accomplished tonight. So I want you to give yourself a hand. And, not many high school students are online, after school listening to, aunties, I don't know, right, talk, but you are, because you want to win and you want to be better, and you want to achieve, whether it's entrepreneurship or, as Professor Rosie said, research certain schools or businesses. That's why you're here. So here's what you accomplished. So congratulations. I look forward to seeing you all. I do believe I'll be able to shadow again on Tuesday. So I hope to see you on Tuesday. If not, I will see you next Thursday. Be well, take care of yourselves, and have a phenomenal rest of the evening and weekend. And I'll hang back for any residual questions if you have anything you'd like to. Oh, I don't know that that's allowed, but I'll hang back.
It is
Have a good
absolutely
night, Miss
allowed.
Rainey.
I'll hang back. Yeah.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Have a good evening.
Have a good evening, Miss
Thank you.
Rainey.
Yes, you bet.
Good night.
Congratulations, everybody. Good night. Day 2. Woohoo.
Yes, have a good evening. All right, let's see who we have on the line. Does anyone else have any questions for
Good
the?
night, Walika. Good night.
Yes, I have a personal question to ask.
Is that for Professor Rainey?
Yes.
Okay.
My personal question I have for you is that was there any business that you worked in that you thought was really inspiring, and why?
That was really
Inspiring to you, and
inspiring.
why?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'd have to say, so financial services definitely, because like I mentioned before, it was around the educating folks. At one point, I also had a training and development company, which is, again, you're going to hear common themes about me, right? I love to educate. I love to empower. I love people to win. I want people to win, but I also want them to be informed, right? And so I had a training and development consulting company, and I would teach leadership and business courses, soft skills, like communication and, time management and those kinds of things. And so I thought it was inspiring because sometimes what happens in business, so here we're talking about a lot of the, I wouldn't say hard, well, I'm going to say hard skills, right? These are tactics. These are things that you have to do that requires, writing things out, having metrics, just really thinking through things and getting all of these things out on paper, having a plan. But sometimes what happens, as I mentioned before, when we were talking about the difference between being aggressive and being assertive, is people lack the soft skills. They don't know how to speak to people. They don't know how to engage their customer. They don't know how to team build. They don't know how to be kind, right? Maybe, what, have you ever heard of people, they were a person, maybe, think about this in customer service. This happens a lot in the retail industry. This might be a person who was a great cashier. I don't know if that's the right word anymore, but I'm going to use the word cashier. They were killing it on the cash register. They were making good sales. Everybody, they sold a lot of shoes. I'm making this up. And so the manager goes, "Oh my goodness, you are amazing. I'm going to promote you to shoe sales manager and give you a team of 4 people," right? And this person has no skills whatsoever on how to manage people, how to talk to people. Good night, Andre, Tiana. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to inspire people. And so they don't have those skills. So for me, helping people with really that side, in addition to these hard skills that we're talking about, was super inspiring to me. Because that's really, if again, people don't do business who they don't like. And people will not really work hard for you. They might work because they need a paycheck, but they won't do their very best if they don't like or respect you.
Thank you. I have one more question. Then I'm done. My last question is, what would you say to people who are trying to gain your level of confidence and your intelligence in what you know?
I would say to always be a continuous learner. So I take a lot of courses. I have my spiritual life that, I'm not going to talk about, but that's really the bedrock of who I am. But I do a lot of a lot of courses on professional development. So this weekend, for example, I was in a 4-day from 10 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night workshop around business strategy, the very same things that I'm talking to you about. And so I always seek to find people who are doing things better than me, who are smarter than me, and to always be open to learning. You're all going to be teaching me things as well. I mean, this is only night 1. I want to hear from you too. That's why I keep asking. I want to hear from you because you're helping me grow. But to be a continuous learner and to take that information and be humble. Take feedback, but always be a continuous learner. Always.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
so much for your time.
Absolutely, Prince Pierre. Great questions. Khalil, you hung back. Did you have a question?
Oh no, I was saying that you're never too old to learn.
Never, ever, 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 ever. A lot of people think that they are, but you never, 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 ever. Once you stop learning, I mean, you might as well just pack it up, right? My 22-year-old daughter keeps my swagger meter high, because there's a lot I don't know. So I'm always listening to her. I'm like, really? You know? So yeah. So
What I hung back here was to listen to everybody else's question, because I might have the same question also.
good.
And also, I didn't get to write my vision and my mission statement yet because I didn't know how to write it yet.
That's
So I'm still learning. I'm getting there. I'm not like I'm really not even like sure of what I want to do, because I want to have own a lot of businesses. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. I respect your honesty, Khalil, and as well. This is an hour and a half of a lot of information, right? And that's why I was stressing the importance of making sure you go back to the slides that with the things that Professor Jay covered on Tuesday. You look at what I'm going to populate in just a couple of minutes. You do that 7 levels deep exercise, and do things that interest you, right? So for example, I've been told, and I've ignored it, you have a really nice voice. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, right? And now that being a voice actor, right? So like doing audiobooks, being the voice behind video games is a huge industry. That's one of my businesses now. I'm actually going to be going to school because I want to learn how to be a good voice actor so that I can do audiobooks. But that's something that actually interests me. I'm like, oh, that's really, yeah, I do like to hear this, So just think about that, Khalil, truly, and also think about skills that you already have. There's so many things that you already have, my friend, that you can tap into. Think about, like I said, someone said to me, oh, you've got a nice voice. I'm like, yeah. What have people said about you that you've ignored that you can turn into a business?
People have said makeup, cosmetology, and stuff like that. And people would expect me to know how to do makeup and know how to do hair and know how to do all of this stuff. But I really don't know how to do any of this stuff. But I would love to learn how to do most of this stuff for myself and for business.
Yeah.
I won't have to pay anybody else to do it.
There it is, right? Yes. So that's an interest and a passion that you have that people either see about you, but you genuinely have an interest. Sometimes people see things about you and it's like, whatever, dude, or do that, right? But you said you have an interest in it. And so that's a start right there, right? But now you just have to refine. The cosmetics industry is vast and deep. So what is it? What part of the cosmetic industry would you like to pursue, right? Is it makeup, right? Is it fashion? Is it, don't answer these questions. These are not questions for you, but that's, for you to start thinking, And then when that slide that I have about, which I thought was a really good one, because I actually was thinking about that myself, the slide that asks you to think about a product or service that doesn't exist, a product or service that doesn't, where, you might have been searching for yourself or someone else that doesn't exist. I mean, there's so many gaps between what people need versus what's out there. There's something there. So think about the last time you went shopping, or the last time a friend of yours might have gone shopping for makeup, right? And it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Just I'm dropping something on you, Khalil.
Oh.
Yes. So just think about that as we close, okay?
Okay.
You got it. All right, everybody. Well, listen, have a great rest of the evening. I'll see you all, like I said, next week. And Professor Rosie, would you like to, oh, do you want to hang back?
Yeah, we'll hang back for just a few minutes.
Sure, okay.
All right, you all.
All
Great
right,
class,
thanks to
great
hear. Bye,
Thank you.
Khalil.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Thank you very much for your
See you
time.
next-
I learned a lot from
Absolutely,
you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your questions.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. You better How was it? How did you feel?
Girl, you should see me. I got papers everywhere. I'm like, what the heck? When is the who, the what the? I got your outline. I'm like, okay, you know what?
That was awesome. Oh my gosh. And you kept them so engaged and they really they were loving it. They were feeling it. Like they really were. You were feeding them and giving them that vibe, that energy that we so encourage. That was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. That was all. I just wanted to say that. That was awesome. And I'm sorry, I just responded to your text about an hour ago because I don't get service on base. And so I'm like constantly, it's horrible. So anyway, I don't usually like respond to my text messages until I'm like on my way home or at home. And then I'm like responding to all my messages, my phone calls, whatever. So, but yeah, this was awesome.
Well, we're still recording. I don't know if you.
Oh, well, we can edit this. So let's stop recording.
Okay. I don't know who this is sharing. I'm like, okay, hello, goodbye, whoever it is.
All right.
Um,